Okay, everyone, welcome back to Twin Tarot. I'm David,
I'm Gary.
and today we're going to talk about.
We're going to talk about whether the incident that happened in Pennsylvania was real or was it staged.
Hmm. Okay, so
So
yeah, a lot.
we got a lot of comments over the last couple days with people saying that that was a staged event, that this
Right.
was not real, that Trump staged this whole thing, and it was basically convenient to take all the heat off of him for all the other stuff that was happening in the news. It got all that stuff completely wiped out of the news cycle and generated a lot of sympathy and fundraising opportunity for Trump.
Yeah, and if you look about it, a lot of things changed with this, and there were things that were convenient and didn't get explained. Like Trump had sent out an email or a tweet or something along those lines, saying, check out my upcoming rally today. It's going to be wild. I may we're going to say something that will really send the deep state reeling. It was something like that. And I was struck by the word, I may say something. What? You're not planning on saying something? It's like, I will say something. Why would you say may? It's like nonsensical, typical stuff. Which, you could say, oh, see, he was planning it. But the other hand, it's like, for crime's sake, he said he may say something. What the heck does that mean? Either you do or you don't. Why are you teasing your own people? All 400 that showed up to that rally.
Well, I think that's in my initial blush with that was I didn't go down the conspiracy corner with that. I was just looking at it as like he was doing like what Muhammad Ali did or what the wrestlers used to do back in the day, where they're promoting,
Yeah.
he's all about crowd size and
Yeah.
he needs to do something to get people to show up because it's
Yeah.
really embarrassing to him when there's 300 people out there and he's got to tell the world that there was 80,000 people.
He's living his greatest hits. Now, January 6th with his greatest hit will be wild. And he keeps using that as a dog
Exactly.
whistle to get people to show up. And I may reveal something that'll do the deep state translation. I'm not going to say a darn thing, but maybe you'll believe me and show up anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got that. The second part is that when the shots rang out, he grabs his right ear. He grabs his ear, looks at his hand, then drops down. I don't think he faked it. I mean, literally, he was not expecting. He felt something sharp in his ear. He wasn't expecting. His reaction was very authentic for anybody who suffered an injury like that.
I thought so too. The way he whipped around,
Yeah.
it was like, wow. It's just like if you had like the biggest mosquito in the world just go shooting by your ear.
And that's what he described it felt like. He said, stung like the largest mosquito in the world. Then he dropped.
Yeah.
You see him drop down.
Yeah, just something went right by your ear. Yeah, you'd have that reaction where you'd pull your head off to the sideline and whirl around like, what the hell was that?
Yeah. And I don't think he got shot in the ear. If he got shot in the ear, he'd have a chunk of his ear missing, and I haven't seen anything that remotely looks like that. I did Google pictures of what grazed bullet wounds look like, and some are be graphic because they're not really grazing, but it looks like a towel, like a towel burn, or you've scraped all the skin off on a portion of your face, roughly the diameter of a bullet, and it's just raw and red there. And I don't see that on his cheek. It'd be amazing. It clipped his ear, but didn't take off his ear or a part of his ear. The injury I saw for his ear looks much more consistent with, glass shattering and like fragmentation damage to his ear. And head wounds bleed profusely, which is why there was blood on there. People said they didn't see blood at first. Hey, it may have taken a couple of seconds for that to happen. But trust me, his reaction was very authentic. And the other part that confuses people is that he then gets up. He's worried about his shoes. Get my shoes. Not I need my shoes. And then as they're leading him out, he's stopping and he's fist pumping, shouting, fight, fight, fight. Like he knew that he was no longer in danger and he couldn't resist the moment to call out like a gladiator to the arena crowd to pump him up as he's being pulled out of there. And maybe he had news that the shooter was taken down. It's entirely possible he thought the shooter was taken down and that there was only one shooter. It might be his foolishness, or it could be that he knew there was only one shooter, and that's why he's at. So it could go either way.
Yeah, I suspect that he assumed there was one shooter, and that the shooter was neutralized, and he wanted that Kodak moment for his base.
Absolutely. And does it mean it was staged? It could go either way. If you can make the argument, if he knew there was one shooter and that shooter's taken down, he knows he's safe. He can do stuff like that. Or is he just too ignorant to realize there could be more than one shooter? I could believe that in a second.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And then let's see. The fact, what's interesting is that the shooter was a 20-year-old male who is a registered Republican who allegedly donated $15 to progressive, like it was Act Blue or something like that, or Act Now. And it was made in 2017 when the kid would have been 16, 17 years old. And so people say, oh, he's a Democrat. It's like, hi, kitten. But, it's like,
no.
But it's like, you know what? He was like, his classmates know him as a very conservative person who would always stand with the conservatives in their political debate classes. And they believe he had a Trump shirt. So it doesn't fit the narrative. But it doesn't fit the narrative of like, well, you can't blame the Democrats for it. But it could be that if you're going to get somebody to play along and shoot blanks at Trump, that you hire somebody like this. But maybe you put real bullets in there. Trump wasn't expecting that. I mean, who knows? But there's too much that needs to be put in place. I'm going to pause for a second. And
the kitten has been fed.
Yeah, the kitten has been fed.
She's very subtle when she's hungry.
Yeah, so there's just a lot of things that don't add up. So I understand why people would think that it might be staged. And, it would make, in some ways the Democrats the problem is with Donald Trump, you never know, right?
Yeah.
Because a normal person would never do this. A malignant narcissist wouldn't care.
Yeah, but you have to put yourself in the mindset of a malignant narcissist to figure out, does this make sense to them?
Yeah, and it does. That's the problem. It does. Yeah, take a shot at me. And what's the benefit of it? Well, for the Democrats, nobody's talking about Joe Biden's age anymore. But on the plus side, the Epstein information was leaked by DeSantis or made public by DeSantis in Florida, and it's damning about Trump. You've got a 13-year-old girl who's accusing him of rape, refiled her case. That was in the news cycle. And now those are completely and gone out of the news cycle. Yeah. So, things that he didn't want to talk about that the media wasn't even covering, and people started getting on the media for it. And then all of a sudden they don't have to talk about it. Project 2025, they don't have to talk about it now. All they have to talk about is Trump's year.
Yep.
All right. So after this 8.5-minute rant, we might start looking at cards here. Let's have you lead off here.
Okay. So was this staged? Was this incident in Pennsylvania staged for entertainment purposes only? Okay, the foundation of the reading is Queen of Wands.
All right, get that card a lot. Don't you shuffle your deck?
I got to shuffle these things a little bit better. So the Queen of Wands, it's about creativity, about passions. And as we were just doing a previous reading, that we've, as Americans, have kind of taken our democracy for granted, and we've kind of lost our passion, and we need to, a queen is very nurturing energy. So we need to sort of nurture this democracy back, and we've got a couple of candidates that maybe aren't as exciting as, or too exciting. And this is something where some people have been undecided, which is just flummoxing to me. So, was this staged? So right now, we've been kind of nurturing our passions, sort of taking a look at, it's kind of sitting back and looking what's happening here. Crossed with the Lover card. So the lovers card is kind of about, making deals or agreements and finding, love and common ground. Underlying this is a 10 of cups, where it's just, everything is coming up roses. So if this was staged, this is great for Trump because everything he wanted came from this. He's out of the Epstein news cycle. He's got something to fundraise on, and he's gonna get like sympathy vote, right? And everything that he wants. There's nothing that doesn't benefit him by this happening.
Correct.
Agreed. In the past, we've had the 3 of Pentacles.
Oh my.
So, yeah, isn't that interesting? Where conversations have occurred. It could be conversations between him and his security detail and his speech writers. It could be him and the Federalist Society.
The Federalist, probably more the Heritage Foundation.
The Heritage Foundation. I keep getting them mixed
up. I understand.
I think Federalist is with Canon, right?
Yeah.
So the Heritage Society behind the 2025 could be him talking to the Heritage Society. So if this was set up, it could be him working with his security and working with the people that were making the arrangements. I'm not saying that happened. It's just like you could go either way with that, right? Current energy, just like the Lover's card, the 2 of Cups. It's kind of agreements and understandings and shared emotions. That Trump's kind of he was in a bad place. There was a lot of negative press coming out. And the news cycle was going to start shifting towards him in a very unflattering way. And his campaign, he was able to get a whole bunch of donations when he got indicted. He got a whole bunch of donations after the debate, but Biden got more. Biden really benefited from that poor debate performance. I know, shock of shocks, right? Overarching energy.
I keep forgetting that even though his camera's down, he can still see me.
Yes. Overarching energy is the 2 of Pentacles. So I need to pull that down. Okay.
Yeah.
The 2 of Pentacles.
That one out yet, huh?
Yeah. 2 of Pentacles. It's about balancing your health and your wealth. So it's just like, okay, well, if we are staging this, I really need the money and I need to get out of the news cycle. Is it worth my life? Maybe. How much is my life worth to you?
How good is this guy's shot?
Yeah. I heard he tried out for the marksman team.
Yeah, he went up for the rifle team in his high school, allegedly. Yeah, didn't make it.
He did so poorly they wouldn't even put him on the junior varsity. Is this the
lesson to be learned?
Lesson to be learned. Thank you. 6 of Pentacles. So 6 of Pentacles, I can fundraise from this if I could, survive the assassination attempt. I've got justice. I've got the Supreme Court on my side. I've got the whole documents case is going away or soon to go away at this time. I might have to pay off this shooter a little bit, but I'm going to fundraise big coin if this pulls off the way we want. The outcome, the Death card. I bet you Trump wouldn't have done this if he knew the outcome was the Death card. So the outcome was the Death card. So the Death card, it's not always a physical death. It could just be the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle to start. In this case, it could be the death of the Epstein story, the Project 2025 news, and the beginning of the newest grift, getting all sorts of money.
Right. Let me know when you're done because I'm chomping at the bit again.
Oh, here. I can totally see it. Okay, so personally, I am not a conspiracy theorist, but I got to tell you, I can make a really easy story saying that this was staged.
Yep.
And as much as I'd like to poke fun at David, or sometimes when I'm seeing a reader kind of show their bias when they do their reading and not be objective, I've got to practice what I preach. And as much as my bias is very anti-conspiracy, I think there's more to this than what we've been led to believe. Was this a completely arranged thing? It might have been done without Trump's knowledge, quite frankly. I know I saw that there was an interview with Alex Jones. I forget who he was talking to, but he was basically saying that it would be fantastic if Trump got assassinated. This was a few months ago, like 4 months ago, 6 months ago. He said, that would be like the best news ever, because it would galvanize MAGA, and then they could put someone in that was even better than Trump. It'd be like the worst thing that could ever happen to the Democrats, and it would just lock in the Republican victory for the election. And frankly, it was looking like it was going that way, except that the kid that pulled the trigger was a registered Republican and a gun activist.
Yeah.
So, he didn't fit the mold. If he had been some undocumented migrant that snuck over the border from Central America, got a gun illegally, and then tried to shot and killed Trump,
and that had pockets full of fentanyl.
Yeah, that'd be it for Biden's campaign. The far right and the Republicans would just go ballistic. So that would have been it for Biden for sure. So you know what? I'm going to go with, there's more to this. This was not as accidental as it would seem. That's what I'm going to say.
All right,
so I'm going to leave the camera down. Dave, go for it.
Spread those cards out just a little bit so it's a little easier to see. Okay, so I'm going to read it both ways.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to read it first as a non-conspiracy theory and then as a conspiracy. Or I'll read it first as a conspiracy theory that was it staged? This is going to be the yes, it was staged reading. Okay, so the Queen of Wands is taking action. We got to do something here. And then you've got your cross with the Lover's card. It's like, we're going to do something and we're going to get into an agreement with somebody who's like-minded with us, who's passionate, is going to do what we want him to do. The Three of Coins in the past are the secret negotiations behind the scene. Okay, this is what's going to be. The Secret Service is going to leave this gap open. You get up there, you take your shot, put blanks in your gun or something like that, that type of thing. Or if you're going to put bullets in it, make sure you miss. Type thing. You can be close, but you got to miss. And then the Two of Cups, which is the current situation, was they found somebody willing to do it. Some fanatic who would do anything to help Trump out. Just need a favor from you. Don't worry, everything's going to be fine. I'll pardon you or something like that. So it looks like, it's don't worry, we'll have you covered here. And then the overarching energy is the Two of Coins, kind of like the, is this really going to work? Is this going to work as well as we think it's going to work? Hey, Punky. And, just trying to, there's Punky's butt.
That's right. It's his favorite.
Is this really going to work? They're going to pull this off. And then the lesson to be learned is the Six of Coins. Yeah, we can pay this off. Because they don't want the story to get out that it was staged. That's the thing you've got to concern yourself about. Does this information get out? How do we prevent it from getting out? And then the Six of Coins is, if we pay this guy, there's going to be a trail. So how do we stop this from getting out? Well, death card, you kill him. Dead men tell no tales. And then underneath is the Ten of Cups, and it's all done for Trump's campaign. Mm-hmm. That's how I would view it as a staged. Now, if I view it as an unstaged, that this is not a staged thing, Queen of Wands versus the Lover's card. This kid this young adult was often, I guess, teased or tormented in high school, bullied in high school, if you will. He was a big Trump supporter, an avid gun person, and it could be that he got baited or dared into doing this. There is a theory going around which makes no sense to a rational person, but it would make. This is not a rational act that would say that this guy was obsessed with Trump, and so obsessed with Trump that he wanted to kill him so that his name would forever be associated with Trump. So he went out maybe on a dare or something like that to say, "Oh, bet you I'd shoot anybody. I bet you wouldn't shoot Trump." "Yeah, I would." "No, you wouldn't. You're too scared to shoot Trump. You would never do it." And mock him. And then this guy's like, "Yeah, I would." And so then he's in the background plotting, like, how would I shoot Trump? How would I get away with doing this? Or how could I do this? And then, has a bet with somebody that he's going to do that and go out there and make a name for himself. And then the overarching energy is kind of the, what's the best way to do this? Is this really worth it? Do I want to die to associate myself with Trump? But mind you, this person was probably had mental health issues, severe mental health issues going on, and there was a deterioration of that. And in the end of the day, he could have thought like he was doing Trump a favor or doing Trump a mercy by shooting him, and then he would, forever be associated with him, because now everybody's going to remember Mr. Crooks' name as the guy who tried to shoot Donald Trump. And the outcome is the death card. He did not plan on living from this. He had an improvised explosive device on himself. He had several in his car, and between the Secret Service snipers and such, he was not expecting to live. He was expecting to go out in a blaze of glory. And underneath all the 10 of Cups, nobody was going to know who this guy was. Now everybody is going to know who this guy is. He's in the history books. He's in pop culture now. No, he went from obscurity to infamy in 3 gunshots. That's how I read it both ways.
All right. Okay. I was juggling cats.
Yeah, again, at the end of the day, it could go either way. And what I want to throw on here as we do this, will the FBI release information that will be convincing one way or another? That will the FBI release information that's convincing that this was either an assassination attempt or a conspiracy? And in that card, in your throw, you had the Lover's card, the 2 of Cups, and the 3 of Coins. All of those would indicate conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
So will the FBI show this as a conspiracy case? Okay. Ace of Pentacles. Follow the money type of thing. There's probably some big information that's going to be out there that they're going to find. If this is a conspiracy case, they're going to find it. Okay. Cross with the Hierophant, the government. Yeah. So if the FBI finds out that this is a conspiracy involving Trump and the Trump campaign, they're going to find it, and they're going to be able to connect this kid to whoever came up with the idea. They'll be able to link it, maybe even through money or something promised of value to him. Again, if not, they won't be able to do that. In the past, we got the Ace of Swords, somebody wanting to take action. Current situation is the 4 Swords, now lying low. It'd almost be like the mastermind who came up with the idea is now lying low. Overarching energy is they needed to find somebody young and fanatical enough to do it. Queen of Swords, they made that choice to do it. And then the Temperance card, take your time. Will they show this as a conspiracy? I think they'll be able to figure out if it was or wasn't. I think what's going to happen is with the Ace of Pentacles, they're going to get some really valuable information on this if it's a conspiracy. They're going to get stories from witnesses or people that'll talk to the FBI to tell them what they know. So if this kid was dared by his peers to do this, or they're going to go through his online posts, they're going to look at my friends Mike and Drew found this guy's Steam account. Steam is an online gaming account, and he was allegedly playing a game where you pretend to be a Secret Service agent and trying to protect the president. Now, I went to go verify that today, and guess what? There's like about 400 Thomas Crook accounts now, all with this guy's picture on it. So, and all these people are, posting up like they're playing games today. So people are just basically creating new accounts after this kid that took a shot at the former president. But if it's true, the FBI is going to look at his online postings. They're going to look at his Steam account to see if this is something that he did. They're going to look at everything. They're going to look at all this information. They'll keep quiet on the information for a while because they got to make sure. But I think they could find some stuff, whether it's a conspiracy or not. Then they have to judge, do we release this? And I think they will release this over time. They're going to take their time and make sure they've got the story straight and it withstands scrutiny. They're not going to race to release the story. So we will get information on this. Now, the magician card can be illusionary or it can be manifestation. I'm hopeful that because the FBI is currently in the Biden administration and the Biden administration's kind of about transparency, I am hopeful that what the FBI finds is going to be accurate to what happened and it will be shared. But yeah, I mean, maybe that Queen of Swords is, when do you share it? Mm-hmm. When do you share it? Because if this is a conspiracy, here's the thing: the FBI is not supposed to release any information that might impact an election within a narrow window as you get closer to the election. It's going to take them a while to piece together this information. Will Merrick, if they do get something, will Christopher Wray, will Merrick Garland release that information? Yeah. Or are we too close to the election? Yeah, this is gonna be a really, really interesting one. Probably if it's a conspiracy, they're not gonna release it.
Oh, really? Okay, I was going the other way.
Yeah, a reasonable person would think, if it's a conspiracy, you should release it. But I think if it's a homegrown lone wolf attack, they'll let people know about that because it won't impact the election. Right? It's not. Yeah. But think about which one's going to impact the election more: a lone wolf trying to take out Donald Trump, or Donald Trump arranging a fake assassination attempt.
Well, yeah, it would take a lot longer to make sure all your I's were dotted and T's were crossed, right?
Yeah, but which one of those two do you think would impact the election more strongly?
Definitely the latter.
Exactly. So if they figure that out, if they dot their T's and cross their I's takes them too long to do that, then
I usually cross my T's and dot my I's, but if
you want to do it the dumb way, then you can do it the dumb way. But
well, yes, if you wanted it to make sense.
Yeah.
Well, it's because I would say that, Trump's really big about election interference.
Uh-huh.
And this is like, you can't almost get more textbook election interference, short of, having sex with a porn star and then cover hush money payments to cover it up. And then, making sure that stuff didn't get and then lying about it on your business records. But next to that, staging a assassination attempt in order to fundraise and kill a bunch of stories that were negative, that was going to be negative press against you. Yeah, someone might call that, election interference as well. and what they did with Hillary's emails on the server, Comey did that last second. Well, we got to look at this, right? And I I guarantee you that killed a bunch of independent voters
Yeah.
that were people that were on the fence about Hillary.
which is why you would expect that they're not going to make the same mistake with this one. They will, if it's something that's going to negatively impact a campaign, they are not going to do that. They're not going to make that announcement. And to me, if they find out that this was a lone wolf, that doesn't impact the campaign one way or another.
Yeah.
But if there's a conspiracy, that absolutely does. So they need to get their heads wrapped around this story sooner rather than later if they're going to announce this. But
Yeah, if it's a lone wolf, I think they'd be able to kind of prove that a little quicker than if there was a conspiracy, because
exactly,
you got to follow the trail on a conspiracy.
I would say
all these court cases are coming up so late in the game because there were so many people involved and so many things that they had to nail down in order to put together a solid case for the courts. And then you get people like the Supreme Court and Judge Cannon and, just kicking everything down the road so Trump can try and exonerate himself by becoming president again.
Yeah. In the end of the day, I think if this is a lone wolf case, we will hear about that prior to the election.
Yeah, I agree.
If you think if you're wondering if this was staged, just wait for the news. If you haven't heard about it being a lone wolf assassination attack by election time, like to October,
November, exactly.
Election, assume it was staged. Assume that unless they come out and say we can't tell what happened, they would say that too. But if it was a lone wolf, they will have that announced before the election.
Yep.
If they don't,
well, yeah.
Then, wow, it's really weird that they didn't announce that yet. You think they'd have had that figured out by now, huh?
We live in history.
Yeah. All right. I think I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching our show and subscribing to our channel. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Please like, share, subscribe, leave comments. I go through all the comments and I try and answer as many as I can.
Okay. And we hope you found this reading insightful, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
Have a great night. Bye, guys.